Welcome to Hollywood Impact. My name is Eric. With me, as always, is Christian.
Thank you for showing up. And if y'all have not seen our spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine, you should go check that out, because today we're talking about spoilers only.
Part
Spoiler
two,
talk.
we're
complete.
going to get into it, buddy.
Yes, all this is just a conversation about just what we thought about the details of that film.
Yeah, and it'll spoil previous shows and movies. Everything's, spoiler
this is
alert.
Full spoiler alert. All
right.
So, anyways, I'll go ahead and let you start.
Well, all right, let's start with... I love just the opening credits, right?
Right.
We mentioned it in the last video about him dancing with NSYNC, but what we didn't mention was that he was using the corpse from Logan as a weapon.
As a weapon to kill the TVA
and
people.
was just massacring these TVA guys. And from that, I mean, that got me from the jump.
Oh yeah, the movie opens with he's trying to dig Wolverine's grave.
Yeah,
and he's got regenerative powers. He's still alive, and then he gets mad because he's like,
not.
oh, he's dead. And the TVA show up. He has no idea why. He thinks that they're there to harm him or whatever. So he just starts brutalizing these people with Wolverine's skeletal remains, and it is so funny. And in between there, he's dancing and stuff, and I thought that was so funny.
I did too.
I didn't know at first how I'd feel about it, because it's taking one of the most emotional parts of any X-Men thing ever, and then just screwing with it. But I thought that it was really well done.
Yeah.
So,
what was your favorite? So when he finds out this Wolverine is dead, he's got to go find another one. What was your favorite Wolverine variant?
So he goes through all these places because he's like, I gotta find the right Wolverine, the one that won't kill him on the spot and stuff like that. It's hard not to say Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill was cool.
The Cavalrine is what he called him. It was so funny. He's like, I promise you, the guys down the street will
treat you better.
They'll treat you better than the other ones. The one I didn't understand, because it might be a comic thing, but the one I didn't understand was the one where Wolverine's being crucified atop of
get that one.
Bloody bones. That was kind of disturbing.
That was.
I didn't really know how to react to that. I'm just in here thinking, what the heck?
I'm sure there's a comic explanation, but
tell us what the explanation for is.
I'm a live action guy. I'll watch some animated stuff, but I'm not digging into the comics.
I don't read. You think we'll read nowadays?
But I did like the first variant, because it looks like your traditional Wolverine.
Everybody was been clamoring we want comics accurate Wolverine. And it's like,
do you really?
Do you really?
Because dude was 5'2".
Dude was literally
bro's tiny.
He was literally short king. That's what he was. And I'm sitting here thinking, he's not intimidating.
And I can't remember the song that was playing while that was going on, but it fit.
It was just
the soundtrack was so good.
I love that he stole the TemPad just to kind of just go searching.
Yeah.
But then he finally found Wolverine. Were they clear on which Wolverine it was? Is it the Wolverine from?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they mentioned what Earth that was.
I don't think they did either, but later on in the movie, Cassandra Nova gets inside his head and sees his memories. And we see flashes of the original X-Men films.
Yeah.
So either those series of events have happened in other universes, or maybe that is actually the one.
I'm not sure.
That we'd been around. But regardless, he's
a broken Wolverine.
Oh my gosh, he's big old baby. He's like, whatever, poor me, all this stuff happened. I was a horrible person, and he's pitying himself. He's drinking himself into a stupor, basically.
Yeah.
And I love how he's the one that he chose just because he was the easiest to nab.
Well, yeah, so one that didn't want to kill him right off the bat.
Yeah.
But that's because he had the whiskey.
Right.
Yeah.
And the TVA is trying to come up with this device where they can wipe out any timeline.
And be more efficient with it.
Yeah, to be more efficient, and they can be more picky and choosy with what's in danger, what's not, and just, blink it out immediately.
And that guy with the TVA, Paradox, I thought he was really good. I thought he was funny.
I think it's very funny.
So when then they have their first fight, I think, when they get zapped into the void.
And there's a 20th century logo half buried in the ground. That's clever. That's so good.
But what was your? What do you think your favorite fight scene was? Because there were a number of them between Wolverine and Deadpool. I mean, it was stabby McStabtown.
Talking about like fight scenes across the whole movie, or
I'm talking about between those two.
The second one. I think the fight with them in the car was much funnier.
Yeah. I
think the first fight had a little bit more like just like playfulness to it, but the second fight was like Deadpool was angry.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to
fight you now.
He's like, I'm going to fight you. And I thought that there were so many jokes, and afterwards he's like tied up in all the car seatbelts.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really clever. The way they did all those fights were so clever. So I went to go with the second one.
I like the first one. I just like the space that they use and all that. But
it's cool.
They were all cool. What about cameos? Let's talk some cameos.
We had
some good ones.
Obviously, we have, like our main cast. Then we have Cassandra Nova. We have Johnny Storm coming back.
I didn't think it was Johnny Storm. They got me. I thought he was Cap.
I
thought he was Cap. I'm
gonna be honest. I knew it was. I mean, I didn't know, but I really well thought it was Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they would use a like Cap reference like in like a 20th century Fox Fest.
Yeah.
I felt like this was a golden opportunity for Johnny Storm, and it was, and he just gets wiped immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, I got this, and it fires does nothing to Pyro.
It was funny to see not Steve Rogers, but Chris Evans speaking the way he was speaking.
Oh, so funny.
It was just funny because it was so out of character, because you think of him as Captain America, and he's like, no, he wouldn't speak like that. But then when he does, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of...
It is wild.
Yeah.
It is very different.
And then one of my favorite cameos that I thought really worked was Channing Tatum.
As Gambit?
It was the funniest cameo.
I think it was the funniest cameo because he makes us so many jokes about how he doesn't have a world.
Yeah.
Because his movie never got off the ground.
It was always rumored, and he just like, they didn't give no Remy no movie, I don't get it. And then Wolverine or Deadpool's like, wait, what are you saying?
Who's your dialect coach? The Minions?
I could have swore that I was thinking he's going to get all excited to have action, and then he was going to get obliterated immediately, but he didn't. And
he actually did some cool stuff.
He did some really cool stuff with the cards and stuff. He's like, you don't want to make me deal the card.
And hey, all credit to the actors playing all these characters who knew they were coming back for their final bout, or in Channing Tatum's case, the first bout.
Yeah.
But like, credit to them to like come back and say, you know what, like, yeah, this is like to say goodbye to everything, and it's a little silly, it's a little weird, but we're in on it.
Yeah.
Especially, what's his name that plays Blade?
Wesley Snipes.
I
love that one. I didn't know that was coming either.
He and Ryan Reynolds have not always got along, but I'm glad that he came in for this film, and they kind of made a joke about how they don't really like each other too much.
Well, yeah, because I forget Ryan Reynolds was in Blade 3.
He was in Blade 3.
Yeah.
And so, there you go. But there was Elektra. Blade was probably my favorite cameo.
Yeah.
I loved the Blade movies, and I love the joke that he made that he's like, there's one Blade, there will always be one Blade.
Yeah, was there something more to that, or was he just playing around?
Deadpool looked at the camera, so the new Blade movie that's been rumored has been through like a bunch of different directors and just had been torn down and built up again, and it's just kind of in a state of purgatory.
Yeah.
So he was making a reference to like the new Blade movie will just never get made.
Yeah.
It'll just never get done.
I hope it does, though.
I hope it does too, because I love Blade as a character. So
I knew X-23 was going to be in it.
Yes, because she was in the trailer.
But I thought she was cool and kind of helped Wolverine, with his, I don't know, his redemption arc, I guess.
She gave him that emotional boost.
Yeah, and then when they go their battle, and she puts on the sunglasses that she had,
so awesome,
from Logan. I'm like, hell yeah, buddy.
It's so good, and the fights they have with all the antagonists from like the old X-Men movies. You got Toad.
You had Toad, Pyro.
You had Sabretooth earlier, but he kind of got wiped pretty quickly. You got Juggernaut. It was just so fun.
It really was.
The location was whack. It's in like Scott Lang's corpse that's still in his suit. Very The movie's very strange all around, but that's to its benefit.
Yeah.
Like everything is just like new, exciting, and fun, and different, and weird, and it constantly hits you with that. And I think that works really well in its favor.
What did you think about all of the Deadpool variants? Lady Pool, the nice. What do they call him? Nice Pool.
Yeah, Nice Pool. he calls him Nice Pool. I actually didn't love it as much as I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was clever for like a second, but I figured I didn't really understand because Cassandra Nova or Cassandra Nova, I don't care. She kind of says, "Oh well, I'm calling in some help to help make sure everything stays the way I want it." Like, why would any of the Deadpools, knowing all their personalities, why would they ever team up with Cassandra Nova?
Yeah.
And that wasn't really explained. I think it was just put there for like a really cool fight scene.
Yeah.
With like Deadpool and Wolverine, and I love that Deadpool goes, "Hey, Deadpool Prime here." Like he's like, "I'm the main one." I just thought like it was cleverly used, but the reasoning for it I didn't quite get. So I don't think that scene really stuck out to me, except for the fact that Wolverine put on the cowl. When he puts on the mask, I was like, this is perfect.
And then Peter comes and kind of saves the day from him.
Yep. I love that guy. So good. He was such a weird addition to the second movie.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know, he's just perfect for the franchise. And I love how all the Deadpools just like love Peter.
Yeah.
That's so good.
The only thing if I could nitpick anything about the film is I didn't get the dog pool stuff. Why was he so infatuated with that ugly ass dog with the abnormally long, disgusting tongue? I mean, I was just like, oh, quit doing that.
Who knows why Deadpool's into what he's into, you know?
What else, man?
I mean, we've covered most of the bases, but I would say that once again, the soundtrack was really cool. And like near the end of the movie, like they have to figure out how to like destroy the time-ripping device. Time ripper. And Cassandra Nova's in there, but it has like an antimatter kind of generator and a matter generator, and they like flow equally but different, and so like they have to like go in there and tear it up. And so I did think it was an interesting subversion in saying, oh, whoever's going down there is going to die.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can regenerate. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Tear apart your atoms. And I love how they go back and forth on like who's going to be the one to sacrifice himself, and eventually they both do it. Right. I think that was really cool. And the music they're playing, and you know, they're holding arms, I think was really fitting for both of those characters. And I love how it was made into a joke. It's like, well, you said that one of us would die, but not both of us. So,
what did you think whenever Wolverine brings the cowl over? And he's like, what did you think about the look of all that?
I think it's perfect.
I thought it was awesome.
If you've seen what Hugh Jackman has said about it, he said the first time he put it all on, he said, why haven't I done this the last 20 years?
Yeah.
He says it's something about it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And Ryan says that the costume people they have who work on all this stuff are just the best of the best. And I mean, as far as I can tell, there's been a lot of good ones in the MCU. There's a lot of people who are different from their comics things, but Deadpool and Wolverine now have, like, in my opinion, I think the most accurate look to their characters of almost any MCU person I've seen besides maybe Thor.
Yeah. And
I'm like, they did a really good job.
So where are we going to go from here? Where do you think it goes? Does it go anywhere? We're good. I try to think, how are they going to bring the X-Men in? And there's a part of me that thinks, do we need to bring the X-Men in? You know what I mean? Because some of the movies we've got coming up, we've got new Captain America movie, right? We've got the Thunderbolts. Then we've got Doomsday.
We got Doomsday, yeah.
And then Secret Wars.
But the thing about Secret Wars has to do with the X-Men.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Kind of necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, where would I go with it? I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
It's hard to integrate characters like when you've done a movie about all the past ones. So like they introduced Johnny Storm, but they didn't really talk about the Fantastic Four a whole lot. So it'll be easier to integrate the Fantastic Four into all this.
Sure.
I believe so. The X-Men are going to be a little bit difficult because you have to acknowledge that like mutants have kind of already been around in every universe. I don't know. I think the Celestials, the ones, especially the one that's halfway through the water right now,
that's never been mentioned since,
is made out of adamantium.
Okay.
And so it's speculated that in the Thunderbolts that there's going to be people across the globe who are fighting for resources from that Celestial.
Okay.
And I think that maybe might lead into something for Wolverine. I don't know. But I think the X-Men are going to get introduced a little bit later than the Fantastic Four and other things.
Yeah.
But honestly, for Deadpool and Wolverine specifically, I don't know. I don't know if Hugh Jackman will continue to do this as Wolverine in the MCU. He never said that he wouldn't.
Well, Deadpool kept saying he's going to bring him back till he's 90.
Till he's 90. And I'm sure that Ryan Reynolds will do this for a long time. I want to see a Deadpool and Spider-Man team up. They've teamed up in TV shows and the comics, and they're so funny.
Yeah.
Because Peter Parker's like very innocent, good, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, very, teenage boyish, whereas Deadpool's like full-fledged vulgar adult killing everything. And their dynamic is even more polar opposite than Wolverine and Deadpool, because at least Wolverine and Deadpool are violent and kill things.
Yeah, they have
but
that
Spider-Man's
in common.
way different.
Right.
And so I'd like to see that.
You want to talk about the news that was broke yesterday?
Yes, we'll close out this with the breaking news that Robert Downey Jr. is back.
He's back, baby.
He's back as Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
What do you think about it?
I'm going to trust the process. It's the Russo brothers are back, right? Those guys are amazing. I think they have a plan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just and maybe they don't. Maybe it doesn't work. But I'm going to go into it thinking they know what they're doing.
I am of a similar mind. The last time I heard trust the process is when I thought Joel Embiid would actually win an NBA championship. And here we are.
Here we are.
And we're still at 0. Come on, Philadelphia.
Joel.
We're waiting. But I agree. I think bringing back the Russos was a smart move. Because they had all sorts of problems with Jonathan Majors and doing the Kane Dynasty, which now makes Quantumania looks like even more of a weird outlier movie than it already is. So I kind of feel bad for that. But he got outed for a reason. He got charged, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of our world. And because of that, you can't always just. You could have just replaced the actor. If it were me in charge, I would have just done that. I would have just replaced the actor, because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
They did it with Rhodey, seamlessly. So I think they could have done that, but to your point, yes, trusting the Russos in understanding, especially since they've done 2 of the biggest Marvel movies ever.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You have to at least acknowledge that you can, if there's anybody that you can trust with that, it's them. And if it doesn't pan out the way that we're expecting,
then it doesn't.
I bet you it'd probably still be better than what other people might have come up with.
Yeah,
because they're experienced.
I'm not going to spend my time complaining or trashing it when I have no idea.
Right.
It may work. It may be awesome.
There's a lot of people who say that Robert Downey Jr. should stay dead as Tony Stark, and that they should never have brought him back. And it's like, well, now we're getting into multiversal stuff where now people are playing dual roles.
Yeah.
So
let's just see what happens with it.
Just have fun. Guys, it's just a comic book movie.
Talking
Who cares?
about superheroes, guys.
We're just talking about superhero movies. Who cares? We love them, but it's not our lives.
Yeah.
Our lives are not at stake. All it is just a movie.
Yeah.
So at the very least, if it's not as good as, if it's not a 10 out of 10, who gives a damn?
Yeah. No, Deadpool, Wolverine, man. I thought it was really good. Paid respects back to the old Fox movies. Yeah. It was just a good send-off, some good closure for some of those characters.
Great cameos, great scenes. I love that they showed Hulk and Wolverine for 5 seconds.
5 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. Would have loved to have seen more of that, but it's still pretty cool.
No, great movie. Can't wait to watch it again.
Same. I cannot wait till this gets on streaming, or I'm going to be streaming this so much.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do the marathon, because I don't know if I'll watch the first 2 Deadpool films if I do a marathon. I think I'll just skip them.
Yeah.
And just do the third movie. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And be sure to keep on the lookout because we have all this new stuff coming out and we have a lot of new plans for the future.
Yep.
So,
if you haven't seen part 1, go check that out.
Go check it out.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you.